That makes the on-air protest of an employee of Russia's most watched evening news show all the more courageous. She now risks up to 15 years in jail, as Monty Francis explains.
It lasted all of 4 seconds. TV producer Marina Avsyannikova jumps behind the presenter on Russia's state-run Channel 1 to speak out against the invasion of Ukraine before the newscast abruptly cuts away. Assuming she would be taken into custody by the police, she recorded a video beforehand to be sure her message reached the Russian public.
What is happening in Ukraine now is a crime. Russia is the aggressor, and the responsibility lies with one person only, Vladimir Putin.
Since the Russian invasion of Ukraine began, the Kremlin has outlawed truthful reporting on the conflict, using the words invasion or war is against the law. Protesting the war will also land you in jail. Police arrested more than 4,000 people who took part in anti-war demonstrations across Russia just on Sunday. Even this man, who held up a blank piece of paper, was taken into custody. He was told that even single picket protests were illegal. The Kremlin has blocked social media sites such as Facebook and Twitter, and many Russians remain in the dark about what's happening in Ukraine. It's why Marina Avsyannikova felt it was so important to speak out in such a public fashion.
Only we, intelligent and thinking Russian people, have the power to stop this madness. Go and protest. Have no fear. They can't put us all in jail.
A call to action that comes with a price. She now faces up to 5 years in prison.
Praise for that on-air protest by Marina Avsyannikova has been pouring in from around the world, including from the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Let's listen.
I am grateful to the Russians who do not stop trying to convey the truth, to those who fight disinformation and tell the truth, real facts to their friends and loved ones, and personally, to the woman who entered the studio of Channel 1 with a poster against the war.
Well, the fifth round of talks to try and resolve the crisis is continuing again today between Ukraine and Russia. That's after Monday's meeting via video ended with no progress announced at all. Also today, the prime ministers of the Czech Republic, Poland, and Slovenia are traveling to Kyiv as representatives of the EU. They are due to meet with the president, Volodymyr Zelensky. Well, that wraps it up for this edition. Do stay with us on France 24. Up next, Talking Europe, where our Catherine Nicholson interviews the Prime Minister of Croatia. I'll be back after that with more of our continuing coverage of Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
Hello, thank you for tuning in to this edition of Talking Europe on France 24. I'm Catherine Nicholson. On the programme today, just over 2 weeks on from the Russian invasion of Ukraine, we've brought together 2 members of the European Parliament to discuss where things stand right now and how Europe should act next. With me are Polish member of the European Parliament from the centrist Renew Europe group, Rosa Thun. Hello. Hello. Thanks for being with us. And with us from the left group, German MEP Helmut Scholz. Thank you for joining us.
Okay.
Let's jump straight in with the Parliament has shown great expressions of support towards Ukraine over the past 2 weeks. There was a resolution voted in Parliament after President Zelensky spoke last week. I just want to start there because you took slightly different positions on that. Rosa Thun, you voted in favour of this resolution. What's the message that you want to send to Ukraine through this?
I would like to send not only a message, but I would like that we act accordingly. Namely, we must deliver all help that we only can. And now it's extremely good that we introduced hard sanctions, but we must do more. And this is my message. We should also stop buying resources from them, which will be difficult for us, of course. But war is difficult, and we must help Ukrainians to stop this murderer who has just invaded them. And they defend themselves and all of us. from this murderer. So so my message to them is that, and I would like that we realize this: we are ready to help as far as it's possible.
Helmut Scholz, now you, along with some other members of your left group, abstained on this vote. Why was that?
But we don't, or we have not abstained, and me too, for the reasons we are just discussing. So we are the same. We are welcoming the refugees. We are saying there must be a clear answer by the European Union to help the people in need. And that is true for everything what is concerning the migrants, etc. And what I want to stress is why I abstain, because there's a mixed message in this resolution concerning the militarization of policy, and there we have, as German left, a problem with, because we are saying we should keep the European Union as Peace Nobel Prize winner, that it is taking back its strength to deliver the questions how we want to have a political, diplomatic solution of the conflict. And that means we have to find in this current day, when the war is still going on, to say a clear no to Putin, to no to the war, and at the same time to open channels for debates and for discussions and negotiations.
Does that mean that you're against the European Union financing and sending weapons to Ukraine?
That is a very complicated question, because if the European Union is delivering weapons which would be able really to be offensive in the defense of the Ukrainian territory, it means that we are becoming part of the conflict. And that would be an immediate clash between the NATO and the Russian Federation that we don't share. And here I think we have to look what weapons we can deliver, what is the defense. But in fact, weapons will not solve the problem. It will even prolong the war, and we have to find political solutions.
So, frankly speaking, we think, or I think, that even if we are not an active part of this, not conflict, but horrible war, and let us use the word war, and he slaughters human beings, bombarding their cities, saying that he destroys only military
installations.
Yes, military installations, but what he does he attacks civilians. The diplomacy is, well, diplomacy should always be there, but as we see, it has not functioned. And even if we are not directly implied, but it is our war, we finance it. We buy energy from Putin. We finance this war. We finance this murderer and murdering the Ukrainians. And they ask us who finance this Russian military by our shopping in Russia, they ask us to provide them weapons because they don't have enough. And we must respond positively. This is, I'm completely persuaded, not only because there was diplomatic efforts were already done. Of course, we should continue them, but evidently it's not enough. We must stop buying energy from them, stop now, as difficult as it will be from us, and do what Zelensky or what the heroic Ukrainians demand. Otherwise, not only they will be conquered by the Russian military, Russian army and Putin, but you know, appetite grows with eating, as we say in Polish, and he will continue. We shouldn't imagine that he will stop in Ukraine.
I just want to pick up on that point about spillover.
What I mean with the diplomatic means is that we are not excluding, and that is that we want economic sanctions, that we want to punish the economic ties in the way that we are really having sanctions on the question. So why we are not taking all the money from the oligarchy structures, which is money in the European Union, to deliver it to the Ukrainian people. So really to touch those people who are responsible for this terrible war. Here I agree very much, but the military issue, and coming from Germany, and if the German government is just saying we are increasing the budget with the extraordinary means for 100 billion euro, that means we are answering not in the responsible way, because that will not solve the issue, that we are defending ourselves in a certain way. So the problem is we have to introduce economic sanctions, we have to cut maybe the gas
but there is no time.
And that is the issue.
But time, you know, there are every day people are being murdered. People children. You know, I'm also emotionally involved because when I was leaving for Strasbourg on Monday, I left at home 11 Ukrainian refugees, only mothers and children, who fled, who are completely traumatized, who tell horrible stories from what's going on in their cities and how it is under the bombs, etc., etc. And here we sit and deliberate what to do. You know, we must support Ukrainians in a way that they demand. They know best what they need, and we must do this.
Well, I want to pick up, as I said, on the idea that the conflict could threaten other parts of Europe. You were saying about Putin taking more and more. We have increasingly heard words of concern about the conflict spilling over. For example, the Latvian EU Commissioner Valdis Dombrovskis.
Let's call it war.
Yes, the war. Valdis Dombrovskis, he's been warning about this. He was born in Latvia under the Soviet Union. He's former Prime Minister of Latvia, perhaps well placed to make this assessment. And he's not the only person from Baltic states who has been making the same warning that Vladimir Putin could decide to take on Baltic states, launch a war elsewhere in Europe.
If I think seriously, what is the aim of the war with the other neighboring countries of Ukraine? Because that would be the prolongation of the border when she has claimed you don't want to have the enlargement of the NATO to the east. That was one of the main slogans or reasons he had given. If true or not, nobody can judge. The problem is that the confrontation he is looking for gives no rational issue why he should attack Poland or Latvia, because that would be immediately a clash with the NATO. So the problem is that I don't think that Putin is in this moment, and that's why we are speaking about stopping the war today, that he is dreaming about a war with the NATO. That would be World War III, and I hope that our, how to say it, clear message to him is stop the war and to support the Ukrainian people in resisting, giving also those who have to flee their homes a new home, at least for these days in the European member states. And here I think is our political responsibility. So that yesterday's just by the Polish government to deliver airplanes through the air base in Ramstein in Germany to the Americans. The Americans refused because they are also analyzing the situation. So it is not only we are talking, and I agree with you, we are talking and they are dying and they are fleeing. That is the brutality of the war, but the solution must be a clear, I would say, economic, political structure.
Yeah, only I fear that the time for economic, diplomatic, etc. Structure, you know, we have to form another. Europe has changed very much in the last weeks. This is a different Europe, I think you will agree, than in the last but one session, no? Previous sessions when we met. Today we are much more united than we ever were, because there is this enemy at our door. And there is, to my mind, no time now. We will have to form a European, stronger European foreign policy, security policy. We don't have all this. We need a European military. We don't have a European army. But now we have to react with those means that we have. And when they send us dramatic appeals that we need, how do you call, fly-free zone.
No-fly zone.
No-fly zone, that we need to be armed, that we need your support, not only economic and not only help with the refugees. This is all very good, but we need more, otherwise we will not stand this huge Russian army. Then we must really respond to it positively. This is our closest neighbor and they struggle for our values. They defend our civilization today, really. I understand that the German attitude with all the past of Germany is very sensitive, and thank God that Germany is so sensitive today on all those issues. And this is really, we must understand and accept it. But on the other hand, years have passed and we are together in NATO and we must really struggle also for our neighbors.
I understand your message.
Just a very last brief word, if you just...
No, I understand your message. But if I translate it into the understandable language, it would mean that we are starting to respond with military means to the request of the Ukrainian president to deliver weapons and become part of the war. And that, I think, is not shared, unfortunately, or fortunately, we can judge by the citizens in the European Union.
But we want it or not, it is our war anyhow. And
but it is and we have to respond in a war with a clear message: we want peace. And the question is not to deepen the war and to enlarge the war, and that I think is a problem issue. Yeah?
It's about defense.
We will have to leave it there. Thank you both so very much for taking part in this program. Helmut Scholz and Rosa Thun, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for inviting.
Thanks to you for watching as well. See you soon for more debate here on Talking Europe.
They observe. They contact us. They report, film, photograph. They are the voice of the voiceless. Your eyes in the far-flung reaches of the world. The Observers, a network of 5,000 committed citizens working with France 24.
One of our observers in Côte d'Ivoire, Gaspard.
Amateur footage and testimonials checked by our journalists and broadcast weekly on The Observers, on France 24 and observers.france24.com.
A déclaré
the attack which was to be done by Ukraine was stopped. After that, we had also seen as to how a joint statement was also issued by Russia and Belarus, where it was said by both the nations that the West has always tried to stop these two countries. If we specifically talk about Belarus, remember that in 1991, after it got drifted apart from USSR, since then, Belarus has been sharing very good equation with Russia and has been seen on standing on one platform with Russia on all the issues. And this time, once again, both the nations are united, and we have seen as to how the talks which took place between both the nations, those talks basically focused on bilateral relations and also the attack which is being carried out by Russia on Ukraine. We'll have to wait and watch how these talks, which will either take place virtually or physically, what kind of results come out of these talks, because it's going to be the fourth round of talks. Ukraine has been requesting NATO, UK, US to announce in that particular area as a no-fly zone, but no assurance has been given. We are also already seeing that how the countries like America, UK, they are coming out and they are, making assurance only and only on Twitter. Yesterday also we saw how Boris Johnson had come out and assured that all necessary help would be given to Ukraine, but it seems like nothing concrete is being done. Only assurances are being made. Only we have seen how sanctions have been put in place, but because of these sanctions, people there back at America and UK are themselves are now facing a lot of problem. Companies there are facing huge economic hit because of the sanctions which they have put on Russia. In fact, they are now also looking for alternatives of oil, which they have put sanction on Russia. So now today it's going to be another important day, very important day, when talks will take place between both the nations, Ukraine and Russia. We'll have to wait and watch what kind of result will come out of this. And these talks, basically, Nupur, are taking place on the day when, yesterday itself, we saw how Russia had attacked had targeted the particular area which was near the Polish border. So it is also going to be very significant. Most likely, Ukraine is going to raise this also with Russia as to why it is happening. And we are also seeing as to how Russia has been claiming that almost 30% of the land of Ukraine has been taken over by Russia, but Ukraine is rejecting those claims. So today it's going to be a very important day. We're still waiting for official confirmation of the timings when these talks will take place. The priority should now be that ceasefire must be stopped, and then only things should move ahead.
Neighborhood in Kiev itself. This is a video from Korneveka where a Russian missile was shot down by Ukrainian air defense, and we've seen how the Ukrainian air defense has in fact taken down many such Russian equipments, many such Russian missiles to be precise. In fact, the anti-tank missile system is also working very, very efficiently as far as the Ukrainian troops are concerned. And they are indeed putting up a tough fight, a stiff resistance that can be seen on ground. Many such visuals, though, coming to light, but the larger picture, Niranjan, remains on how the Russian troops are trying to close in on Kiev. What we do know is they're trying to reach closer to the center of Kiev via the northwestern and the northeastern side. At least what Shavan has been reporting seems to suggest that. So the situation certainly extremely critical in Kiev, the capital of Ukraine, wherein we've seen a significant amount of military build-up the last few days. And now it does look like the Russian side is reworking on its strategy and inching closer to the center of the capital. Niranjan.
Going across straight to Shivani, joining us live from Warsaw in Poland. Shivani, Israel is going to mediate. It's official now. Talks are already underway. Poland, meanwhile, has said that they're completely leaning on America in case something goes wrong with Ukraine. And we saw the attack close to the border with Poland this morning.
Niranjan, that's what is quite worrisome, because the places that was considered quite safe till now are not safe anymore. And Lviv, that happens to be the westernmost city that was quite peaceful till yesterday, also witnessed number of attacks from Russian side, and one more attack on the western UN peacekeeping building was also reported yesterday. That's also quite close to the western border of Ukraine, that happens to be very close to Poland boundary. And here right now where I'm reporting from is the Ukrainian embassy in Poland. If you can see how hundreds of people have lined up, these are the people who have come from Ukraine, leaving their homes behind, and around 20 lakh such people have already left Ukraine to take refuge in Poland as well as other countries from Ukraine. They have come from Ukraine, they have their homes out there, they are carrying small babies, there are children who used to go to school, and they are not able to attend schools anymore. So they are all waiting for the war to end. Meanwhile, there have been camps like this that have been set up for these people, not only by the Ukrainian embassy, but so many other countries are also coming up to help these people. But if we talk about the war zone continues to be in a lot of action, because now the places that were once untouched are also seeing a lot of attacks from Russian side. And meanwhile, while we talk, the talks are already underway, and this time the talks are happening virtually. And Israel has also said that it will be acting as a mediator. It will be intermediating between both these countries, Russia and Ukraine, to find a solution. And that's what is the need of the hour, because we've seen how United States has been instigating and giving statements in order to aggravate this war. But now Israel has come up and said that it will be talking to both the sides in order to come to a solution and find a ceasefire, so that people like what we see out here, they can find some respite, they can get back to their homes, and war is ceased.
Shivani, what can also be seen as an escalation is the deadly attack that was carried out on the military camp. Very, very close to the Poland border. Now, in that sense, any response that you're picking up, because it has left dozens killed, hundreds who've sustained injuries. But what's important is this is a military camp wherein Ukrainian troops were training alongside NATO troops. So any kind of reactions you've been able to pick up on that? Is Poland also seeing this as a massive escalation?
Certainly, Katrine, it is a matter of concern for Poland because Poland shares close borders with Ukraine, and till now there were normal movements along the borders. But after this particular attack close to the boundary, as close as 10 kilometers from the boundary of Poland, there are now concerns regarding the safety of people in Poland who are residing inside Poland. Because, you know, when there are airstrikes, you never know about the precision of the strike. You cannot say the missile, in fact, doesn't know the border. It cannot read the border of the country. And when it is being stationed so close to the border, there are particular danger zones that have now been signified along the border of Poland also. So there are reactions, there is anxiety, and there is tension even in Poland now regarding the attacks that are coming close to the borders.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that, Shivani. We'll keep coming back to you. Some more reports that we've been getting into our newsrooms here in Mumbai.
Если кто-то есть гражданский, уходите.
Around the Kiev region of Ukraine, several explosions were heard in Ukraine's
capital. This is a video from Kharkiv. Kharkiv, remember, has been at the receiving end of the Russian aggression since day one of Russia's invasion into Ukraine. And if we go by these visuals, rescuers can be seen putting out the fire. They're dismantling the rubble. Across Kharkiv, Niranjan, we've seen similar visuals coming from day one. From day one, we've seen how buildings, civilian infrastructures have been reduced to rubble, and now efforts are still on to put things in order. And that goes to speak of the kind of courage people on ground, ordinary civilians on ground are really showing, some of them taking up arms, you know, and giving a fight to the Russian aggression. We've seen women also take up arms, but parallelly what we do see is rescuers also taking stock of the situation, trying to put out the fire, trying to dismantle the rubble. We've been told in cities such as Kharkiv and Kiev as well, 50 to 60% of the population has already fled the war, but there are still about 40–50% of citizens who've decided to stay back, who've decided to defend their motherland. Niranjan.
In fact, they're staying with these pictures right now, and we're getting in more videos. But before that, in Kharkiv, we had a video that came in some time back where the Ukrainian army asked for people to join in their ranks as more and more casualties were seen. In fact, we're getting in a new video from an unknown location of Ukraine. I'm just playing that out. That's there in our surface here in our newsroom, where Ukrainian forces, of course, both sides putting out videos. Let's show you that video that was put out. There is also an audio layer on this video. Let me show you the video. This is the video that was put out. This was a video that was put out, and there is some audio also on this video. We'll just play out the audio. Both sides, both Russia and Ukraine, putting out different videos to show how they are fighting back. This was a Ukraine Forces video put out some time back from an unknown location.
До війни в Мущуні заготовляли ліс. Тут працювало кілька лісопилень. Тепер же, подібно до лісопильні, українські військові нищать надрузки тут російську армію.
А нельзя з матюками, так?
Можна.
Та похуй.
До війни в Мущуні заготовляли ліс. Тут працювало кілька лісопилень. Тепер же, подібно до лісопильні, українські військові нищать надрузки. Кожного разу, коли ми спілкуємося з нашими захисниками, стало традицією чути від них про непрофесійність дій противника. Здається, профнепридатність – це тепер головна характеристика російської армії. Ворог воює кількістю, не володіючи навіть елементами.
The place that was basically considered to be a safer area, the Russians have targeted where there was military training that was taking place, and the military training that was being provided by foreigners. About 35 people were killed in western Ukraine, which is not very far from Lviv. Remember, Lviv is largely the gateway for the migration that's actually taking place, the displacement that is taking place, people who are leaving Ukraine and perhaps going into countries like Poland, Hungary, Romania. As you can see just behind me, the kind of security situation right now on the ground.
Not done, and we are coming to the highlight agenda of the day. And if you remain silent, I will be ready to read out the agenda. On second, UDA on 2nd February 2022, the UDA party, through a notice, invited interested members to apply to be the party's presidential aspirants or candidates. The party received 3 applications, one by Ms. Tracy Wanjiro, a person living with disabilities, another one, Mr. Jeffney Orina from Kisii County, Tracy is from Kiambu County, and we also received one more application from His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto. On 12 March 2022, the party invited all the applicants to attend a verification and interviews to determine the eligibility and the qualifications of the candidates, and also determine whether they were suitable to carry out the application they had made to the UDA. Upon conducting the said interviews, the National Elections Board, together with the NEC, rejected the application of Mr. Jeffney Orina for non-compliance with the party nomination rules. The application by Ms. Tracy Wanjiro was also rejected for non-compliance with the Elections Act number 11 of 2022 because she did not possess the academic credentials. In the circumstances, the party is now seized with one application by His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto as the only qualified contestant for the party presidential candidate. I now therefore move the motion that the National Delegates Congress do hereby elect His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto as the party's presidential candidate in the national general election to be held on 9th of August 2022. I will now invite the first proposer, Honorable John Kawanjiko, Member of Parliament for Kiambaa, the first UDA MP-elect, to come and move the motion. Thumbs up for Kawanjiko.
Tumeona mkono wake Bwana. Mengi mazuri tumeyaona, Mungu umetenda.
I, John Jogona Wanjiko, aka Kawanjiko, Member of Parliament for Kiambaa constituency, and being the first Member of Parliament elected on UDA party, I do hereby propose His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto to be the party presidential candidate in the 9th August 2022 general election. So help us God!
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. May I now invite Lady Sophie Nekoye from Bungoma County to come and second this motion.
I, Sophie Nekoye Waliaula, member number 0886 from Bungoma County, second that Dr. William Samoei Ruto be the presidential candidate for UDA. Thank you.
For this part, I will ask our special guest to be silent and allow the delegates to answer this question. As many as are of the opinion that His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto be the party presidential candidate in the upcoming national general election to be held on 9 August 2022, say aye. May as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. The ayes have it. Congratulations. Congratulations to His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto. Congratulations to His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto. Are you ready to receive him? Can you be upstanding as we wait to receive?
Now,
as we wait to
receive
our
welcome
UDA.
on stage. And now, let us be upstanding to welcome on stage the United Democratic Alliance. And now, let us be upstanding to welcome on stage the United Democratic Alliance presidential nominee. And now, let us be upstanding to welcome on stage the United Democratic Alliance presidential nominee for the 2022 August general election, His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto.
William Samoei Ruto. Welcome, Your Excellency. Wakikalala.
Tumeona mkono wake Bwana.
Peperusha.
Now, let us be upstanding to welcome on stage the United Democratic Alliance presidential nominee for the 2022 August general elections, His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto.
Let's welcome His Excellency Peperusha. 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 Hey, Peperusha. 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 Karibu sana Mheshimiwa Rais wa tano wa Jamhuri ya Kenya, His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto. Wakikalala Mheshimiwa Rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya, Mheshimiwa Rais wa tano, His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto. Duru. Wasemaje? Munasema nini siwasikii? Ati nini?
Nation. Bottom up. Hatupangwingwi.
Thank you. You may have your seat, please. Now, therefore, Now, therefore,
Welcome to the UDA National Delegates Congress 2022.
now, therefore, in exercise of powers, tutulie kidogo tafadhali. Tunaweza tulia kidogo tafadhali. Can we tulia kidogo? Amen. UDA. Thank you. UDA.
Tumeuona mkono wake Bwana. Mimi mazuri tumeyaona, Mungu umetenda, ni wewe kuweza. Ulifanya vitu vipya.
UDA, all is well. Now, therefore, in exercise of powers conferred by Article 6.24 and 31.1 of the Constitution of the United Democratic Alliance Party, the National Delegates Congress hereby nominates and elects His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto to be the party presidential candidate in the national general election to be held on 9th August 2022. Congratulations, Your Excellency. This is a big step in the UDA party. A big responsibility awaits you. Our prayers are behind you. We stand and we wish you all the best. I will now request the further state to clear this space as His Excellency comes over to sign the oath of acceptance of this nomination and election. Could you just give us space on this side?
All over the world, lift up your voice. So you know who you are. Shout it out, declare it. Believers anthem. Come on, let's go. We are a chosen generation. We've been called for to show His excellence. Hey, all I require for life, God has given me, and I know who I am. We are a chosen generation. We've been called for to show His excellence. All I require for life, God has given me, for I know who I am. I know who God says I am, what He says I am. Where He says I'm at, I know who I am. I know who God says I am. What He says I am. Where He says I'm at, I know who I am. I'm working in power. I work in miracles. I live a life of favor. Oh, I know who I am. I'm working in power. I work in miracles. I live a life of favor. For I know who I am. We are a chosen generation. We've been called for to show His excellence. Hey, all I require for life, God has given me, and I know who I am. We are a chosen generation. We've been called for to show His excellence.
Say I. Dr. William Samuel Ruto. I. Dr. William Samoei Ruto.
William Samoei Ruto.
Do solemnly accept to be the presidential candidate.
Do solemnly accept to be the presidential candidate
Of the United Democratic Alliance Party.
Of the United Democratic Alliance Party.
In the national general elections.
In the national general elections.
To be held on the 9th August 2022.
To be held on the 9th August 2022.
That I will truly
and
diligently serve the United Democratic Alliance Party
serve the United Democratic Alliance Party
and the members of the party
and the members of the party
as its presidential candidate in compliance with the party's electoral and code of conduct.
In compliance with the party's electoral and code of conduct.
And that I will diligently discharge my duties and perform my functions as the presidential candidate of the United Democratic Alliance
Party.
And I will do justice to all. In accordance with the Constitution of Kenya. The United Democratic Alliance Party Constitution. And all other laws of Kenya without fear, favor, affection, or ill will.
And all other laws of Kenya without fear, favor, affection, or ill will.
So help me God.
So help me God.
We are a chosen generation. We've been called for to show His excellence. Hey, all I require for life, God has given me, and I know who I am. We are a chosen generation. We've been called for to show His excellence. All I require for life, God has given me, for I know who I am. I know who God says I am, what He says I am, where He says I'm at. I know who I am. I know who God says I am, what He says I am, where He says I'm at. I know who I am. I work in His power. I work in miracles. I live a life of favor. For I know who I am. We are a chosen generation. We've been called for to show His excellence.
I will now move the motion. I will now move the motion that having elected His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto, the NDC hereby empowers him to initiate, discuss, negotiate, and enter into any coalitions, mergers, associations, and alliances.
Nation.
May I invite Honorable Owen Bayer to move this motion.
Nation. Bottom up.
And we can have one seconder. This time I'll give a volunteer the chance, the first. This one in smart shade, you could come and second. Prepare yourself to second.
I, Owen Baya, Member of Parliament for Kilifi North, do hereby propose that Dr. William Samoei Ruto, our presidential candidate, is now empowered to enter into a coalition, to discuss, negotiate, and enter into any coalitions, mergers, affiliations, and alliances. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Owen. Let's have the seconder. Where is the seconder? The other gentleman. The seconder.
I, Idris Mohammed Omar, from Taita Taveta County, I second.
Thank you. Your Excellency, the NDC now empowers you to sit around a table with all your friends from other political parties to discuss, negotiate, and even enter into coalitions, mergers, affiliations, and alliances. Thank you. God bless you. There is one more thing we need to say. As many as are of that opinion say aye. As many as are of contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Thank you.
Nation.
And that brings me to an end of this formal session of the NDC. And I now want to welcome our chair, Honorable Johnson Mudama, to take us through the next short session. And as we prepare to come, do we have Garoya here? Garoya from Nakuru, the young person from Nakuru. He has a special poem for His Excellency.
UDA, kazi ni kazi. Your Excellency, in front of you is Dennis Ngaruya, ready to perform a poem entitled Mr. Future President. Be my guest. Just a humbled man from Kamagut who defied all odds to step in our land. Nairobi resident, did you ever imagine of a dignitary, a bigwig, His Excellency, making such a coalition? It is a progress, and with God, many more are on the way. Your vision for a stable economy is beyond the skies. Upon this, Kenya, under your leadership, will be ranked among the fast-growing economies in Africa. Mr. Future President, they say, God blesses works of a man's hand. Your works are more than meets the eye. They say, humility is not cowardice. We witnessed you being handed over power by His Excellency, the President. What does this show? To protect the sovereignty of the Kenyan people, to protect the interest of the Kenyan citizen. From deep down your heart, the Hague Challenge did not deter you from serving and building Kenya. Credit should be given where due. Your service to the Kenyan people is incredibly remarkable. Your undying spirit, despite challenges from innumerable wet blankets. May God be with you, hustler. As I conclude, remain steady like a warrior, for you are the number one warrior. Keep God first, and sure enough, no effort you have put will go down the drain. Ama hustler unapangwa. Mimi najua upangungwi. May God be with you in all your endeavors. Thank you.
Nation. Bottom up.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, I'll take this opportunity to invite our chair, Honorable Johnson Mudhama, to come and bring to us the special guest of the day, the presidential candidate for UDA, HE Dr. William Ruto.
Ladies and gentlemen, delegates, and the entire Hustler Nation fraternity, please put your hands together for the United Democratic Alliance Chairman, Johnson Duya Mudhama.
Mheshimiwa Rais mtarajiwa wa 5 wa taifa letu la Kenya, Mama Rachel. Mheshimiwa Rais, katika simu yangu nilikuwa nimeandika PTB, simu yangu. Ukipiga haitiki jina ingine. That stands for President to be. From now onward, I'm changing my code to be Mr. President. Viongozi waalikwa kutoka vyama mbalimbali walioko hapa, tumewataja mbele, sitawataja tena, maana kiongozi atawataja. Magavana wetu wengi mtatajwa, maseneta mtatajwa, MPs mtatajwa, MCAs vile vile, na tena wagombezi wengi, all aspirants in our party from all parts of this country, you will be recognized later on by someone who will come after me. Mimi nataka tu niseme chama chetu kina umri wa mwaka 1.5. Kwa umri sisi ni mwaka 1.5, lakini kwa matendo na umaarufu umri wetu ni miaka 50. Na hii imetokana na juhudi za wananchi wa Kenya. Mheshimiwa Rais mtarajiwa wa 5, mimi ninajua baada ya umri wetu tuna kibarua kikubwa sana ambacho kiko mbele yetu, na sasa ni kufanya kazi kuhakikisha kwamba sisi sio chama tu ambacho kina ufuasi mwingi, lakini sisi ni chama kinaweza kushinda serikali na kuunda serikali mwaka huu tarehe 9 mwezi wa 8. Mheshimiwa Rais mtarajiwa, nachukua nafasi hii ni kushukuru sana kwa ujasiri wako, ukakamavu wako na macho yako ya kuona mbele. Tulianza kama hatuna nyumba. Tulianza wewe ukiwa unafunguliwa mlango ufukuzwe na watu fulani kutoka chama mlichosaidia kuunda serikali, na tukaanza pahali tulikuwa hata hatuna kiti ya kukaa, lakini kwa ujasiri wako ulituongoza kama mwanaume bila kuangalia nyuma, na leo tunaweza kusema tumefaulu na tuna nyumba ambayo ina manifesto yetu ya kuunda serikali. Mimi niseme tena kwamba bali na kuwa kazi yetu ni kubwa na inatungoja, kilichoko mbele yetu ni kuhakikisha kwamba kati ya hawa wananchi wote wakirudi nyumbani wanaenda kufanya kazi bila kurudi nyuma, kuona kwamba tumeshinda kura zijazo na sio chini ya 65% ikipungua. Mheshimiwa Rais mtarajiwa na wengine na wageni wetu, UDA ni chama ambacho kwa uongozi wako na umeapa mbele yetu tulioko karibu na wewe, na ninawaambia wananchi kwamba umeapa chama kitakuwa na demokrasia na kila mtu atakuwa na nafasi ya kutumika ndani ya chama, nje ya chama na ndani ya serikali utakayounda, na hiyo ndio msimamo wako. Jambo lile lingine ni kwamba tuna wagombezi wengi ambao wengi wenu tunajua mna mashaka, mnauliza je, tukienda kwenye mchucho mambo itakuwa namna gani? Tutapata nafasi chini ya uongozi wa William Ruto ambaye ni party leader wetu, kiongozi wa chama leo. Mimi nawaambia kwamba kutakuwa usawa, haki na hakutakuwa na upendeleo wowote, na watakao dhaminiwa na wananchi ndio wataingia kugombea uongozi katika chama chetu. Nataka kuwaambia wananchi tena kwamba tumetengeneza ile tunaita na tumeunda National Election Board ambayo wanachama wake wako hapa na sisi, na wao wamepata ushauri wa naibu wa rais kwamba ni lazima mpango wa uchaguzi ujao ndani ya chama uwe wa kuaminika na wa haki. Kwa hivyo mkienda nyumbani msiwe na shauku kwamba kutakuwa na ukora pahali popote. Sisi tumefanya kazi. Tulienda Kiambaa kwa uchaguzi mdogo tukashinda kiti cha Kawanjiku, yuko hapa na sisi. Tukaenda Ruri tukashinda. Tukaenda London Ward tukashinda. Hata kule kwingine hatukushinda. Tumeonyesha ushujaa mkubwa sana kwa kupambana tukiwa na chama mpya. Kwa hivyo wale ambao tunapambana na wao sasa uchaguzi ujao wakule washibe, maana kitakuwa kivumbi ambacho hakijaonekana tena. Jambo lile lingine nataka kutaja hapa ni kwamba UDA ilionekana ni kama chama hakitaenda mbali. Wengine walisema hatutafika, lakini leo tumeonyesha kwa kasi yetu kwamba tuko mbele na tumesafiri na tunasimama kushinda. Kwa hivyo sasa mambo hayo yakiwa hapo, tuna marafiki wetu wale tumesalimiana na wao. Marafiki wetu wale wamekuja hapa, wanatuangalia, wanatuona. Sisi tunataka kusema kama chama vile mmesikia tumeapisha kiongozi na tukamwambia tumempatia nafasi aweze kutembea na kukaa na mtu yeyote na kuongea na kukubaliana ili tutengeneze Kenya moja yenye nguvu. Wananchi watukufu, I want now to head up my speech and take up this opportunity to invite your leader, presidential candidate, who has been sworn in to take that responsibility to come and accept the oath that he has taken in front of you and say that he will walk with you to the end. And then give us his keynote speech and invite his sisters or the sisters of UDA party to come and greet us. Your Excellency, sir, I take this opportunity to invite you. Wapule and DJ, you
And now, let us be upstanding to welcome on stage the United Democratic Alliance presidential nominee for the 2022 August general elections, His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto.
Thank you. Thank you very much. UDA oye! Arambe! 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 UDA! 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 Allah, asanteni sana. Asanteni sana, mnaweza kuchukua viti zenu. Thank you very much. Mwenyekiti wetu Mheshimiwa Johnson Mudhama, katibu wetu wa chama Mama Veronica Maina, officials wote wa chama chetu cha UDA, marafiki zetu, viongozi wa vyama mbalimbali ambao wamekuja kama marafiki kuja kushuhudia sherehe hii yetu ya leo, ndugu wa bunge, magavana, maseneta, MCA na wajumbe wote wa chama cha UDA. Hamjambo? Hamjambo? Bwana Yesu asifiwe. Assalamu alaikum. Hebu mnipungie hivi mkono jameni, nione kwa mbali. Asanteni sana. Asanteni sana. In a very special way, this afternoon, that we are gathered here close to 5,000 delegates of the United Democratic Alliance Party. It is a historic moment because this is a party that a year ago was not the party we have today. It is the effort, the commitment, and the hard work of many people in Kenya. Today, the United Democratic Alliance Party is the largest party in the Republic of Kenya. In a very special way, I want to thank many leaders, senators, governors, and members of parliament who worked with me tirelessly and with a lot of courage and commitment to put together this party that today has over 7 million members. The effort to make this party what it is today of just the leaders. Many hustlers in different parts of Kenya, people who are engaged in all businesses, have registered, have supported the registration, they have financed the registration, they have facilitated the registration, and I want to tell each and every one of them today a very big thank you for making UDA what it is today. This party has come to be the party of the hustler nation in Kenya. This is the party. This is the party where you will not be asked about the name of your father. This is the party. You will not be asked to give your bank account. This is the party for every Kenyan from every walk of life. And I want to say, I am a very proud Kenyan today that you have bestowed upon me the responsibility to be the party leader of this great movement. I thank everybody who is with us here today, in person as well as in spirit, including the millions of Kenyans following this event on radio, on television, and online through various platforms. I am grateful for your support, sacrifices, and the time you have taken to congregate at this culmination of a most eventful journey in our lives. I do not take your support and your time and your interest for granted. And as always, I welcome you to walk with us on this road until we knock on the gates of our glorious tomorrow. I thank our party delegates for the work they have done in guiding the Hustler Nation through a transparent nomination process, and for their consideration in bestowing upon me the immense responsibility of representing the United Democratic Alliance in the forthcoming presidential election. I am profoundly humbled and immeasurably honored. And I accept your nomination to be the United Democratic Alliance candidate in this year's presidential election. I accept your nomination to be the United Democratic Alliance party candidate in this year's presidential election with gratitude to the Almighty God, recognition of the significance of this moment, and an acknowledgement of the work remaining and the road ahead to that day that we all look forward to. I will live up to your trust. I shall do my very best to exceed your expectations, and I shall neither stop, nor pause, nor slow down, nor hesitate until what you have asked of me is delivered. Let us take this moment to appreciate and salute those who participated in this exercise. Tracy Wanjiru, a courageous lady still in university, resolved to transcend all the intersecting setbacks and barriers to her aspiration to offer leadership and to make her voice heard. Jefnel Nyakwama also rose up to meet this hustler moment by emphatically saying and demonstrating that the youth of this country have a place in leadership at every level. These young Kenyans fill my heart with joy and hope. In them, I see myself back in the old days, animated by a vision for change and itching to have a go at leadership. In them also, I see a hopeful future in a country where youth, wealth, name, circumstances of birth, ethnicity, gender, and disability are not considerations nor obstacles to accessing opportunities or realizing aspirations. As you are perfectly valid and good to go. You did not wait to be invited to the leadership conversation. Sometimes the invitations never come. You took your chances, entered the room, and sat at the table. Please, do not leave the table. Let us keep talking, working, and growing together. I thank the United Democratic Alliance for extending us all opportunities to contest leadership positions without discrimination. Let us always strive to live up to our fundamental ethos of uniting our nation through the inclusive and participatory quest for opportunities for everybody. I am aware that this time round, there are thousands of young people giving everything to our movement: resources, time, strength, ideas, and moral support. I know that many youth have come forward to stand as candidates, and yet many others are mobilizing, sensitizing, and participating in other meaningful ways. The Hustler Nation is a young nation. The voice, as well as the aspiration of Kenya's young people, form an essential pillar of our movement. I therefore want to register my gratitude and appreciation and assure you of my commitment to open up opportunities for young people to thrive and drive the progress of our nation. For me, this moment has been long in coming. I have been engaged in political leadership and associated activities since my university days. Obviously, I did not have the opportunity in those days to seek presidential nomination. But I rose from the bottom of the party pyramid, working my way up until I entered party leadership and eventually became a member of the National Assembly at the age of 31. I was an assistant minister at the age of 33 and a cabinet minister at the age of 36, and an opposition MP at the age of 37. And that has sort of formed the basic rhythm of my career ever since. In that time, I have learned a lot, made mistakes, achieved successes, and refined my leadership philosophy and vision for this country. I have learned that leadership failures can cost the country tremendous opportunity and inflict irreparable harm on those many people who depend on us. I have learned that the biggest mistake a government or a party can make is to fail the inclusion test. My original political intuition that governance is all about the people and that development can only be sustainable if programs are designed on the people's terms. I have learned that continuous engagement with the people is indispensable to effective governance and that leadership works and listens more and speaks less. My first bid for a party's nomination to contest the presidency was in 2007, which I did not win, and I conceded defeat and went all out to support the party and its candidate then. I believe we made a good account of ourselves. My second bid for a presidential nomination was in 2013. This was again deferred, as my party subsequently resolved to merge with another party. In the interest of coalition building and broader strategic interests, I divided my bid and once again gave my all in successfully delivering the presidency and a wholesome parliamentary majority. Today, I know without any shadow of doubt that the time has come to represent the hustler nation. The time has come to go all the way to the finish line and secure the place of the hustler nation at the decision-making table. Let the message get out from this very moment and from this place that I am ready, that I will do everything and my best at that, and most of all, that I am determined to give you a campaign you will be proud of, and to win. And to win for our party, our coalition, and for the people of Kenya. Let the word reach out to our friends as well as our rivals that we are prepared and we are inspired to do all we can to go to every place and to work with everyone to open the doors of inclusion, opportunity, and enterprise in order to move Kenya to the higher level. After all, this is what hustlers do every day. Let me state a fairly obvious fact. I am the first elected and serving Deputy President of Kenya. It has been the honor of my life to be elected to this position, and I will forever remain profusely thankful to my friend, President Uhuru Kenyatta, for a successful working partnership in 3 elections. I have discharged my duties faithfully, and there is not a single task that the President assigned me which I did not execute in full. The Jubilee Coalition we formed a decade ago was formed through a covenant to eliminate the politics of hate, division, and ethnicity. Political competition organized around ethnic division is toxic Yet many politicians accept this to be the essence of democracy. Our covenant formed the foundation of a new approach, issue-based politics, institutionalized through national political parties. We succeeded in demonstrating that democracy does not go hand in hand with chaos, confusion, or instability. We have shown that democracy does not express itself through discrimination, exclusion, division, suspicion, or conflict. In government, we focused on delivering those projects and programs that would enable the state meet the people at their point of need. Therefore, we swiftly transformed the country through unprecedented investments in infrastructure as the springboard to effective, efficient, and sustainable service delivery to all parts of Kenya. As a result, we built a new, modern, 700-kilometer-long standard gauge railway, constructed 10,000 kilometers of new tarmac, and connected 6 million people to electricity. We also set up 150 technical training colleges. The next phase of our transformation was going to be the Big Four agenda, which would leverage these foundational undertakings to ensure that the economic and social rights of Kenyans would be actualized by creating jobs for millions of young people out of school, out of college, and out of our universities. It would also transform agriculture to increase food production and to lower the cost of living and increase money in the pockets of millions of farmers. Big Four would also radically change our delivery of healthcare by rolling out a comprehensive universal health program. This would complete the task of transforming Kenya that we had been assigned in 2013. From 2017, however, the party backpedaled on its foundational commitments, including the founding covenant. The party rejected national, inclusive, issue-based transformative leadership and embraced parochial, ethnic, divisive, and retrogressive politics. It defaulted to tribe as the organizing variable of our politics and governance. It privatized governance and weaponized public policy and institutions. It pursued personal politics of congregating an entitled few to express their individual wishes as community interests and translate their private consensus as national policy. In our first term, we made exceptional progress in setting the stage for national transformation. In our second term, we witnessed accelerated regression into the tyranny, personality cult politics, and the weaponization of public offices to intimidate, harass, and persecute Kenyans perceived not to worship those in power. Many large enterprises were destroyed. Many business owners harassed. Many leaders subjected to humiliation, intimidation, blackmail, because their only crime was holding contrary opinions to those holding the levers of state power. A new frame of national unity was engineered in undemocratic, and in terms which rationalize grounding and swallowing the whole opposition and the vandalization of the Constitution to accommodate corrupt and dangerous ethnic arrangements. At the same time, the Big Four agenda was abandoned, pushed into the back burner, as execution of its flagship projects was left at the mercy of forces of emergent state capture. Those who remained loyal to our founding vision were shunned, hounded, threatened, and then persecuted. This is how we lost 4 years that would have gifted us with a brilliant blossoming of a beautiful dream which inspired millions of Kenyans in 2013. To his credit, my friend the President did inform me that he needed space to work on his personal legacy as the fourth president. I obliged, and this led to my eventual retreat to the margins of a government that I had participated in forming. The past 4 years have provided me special moments to be able to engage consistently with ordinary people. As Deputy President, I have worked directly with Wananchi, going to meet them in their villages, their markets, their farms, and their places of work, and to have practiced the leadership of listening more and speaking less. All through my political journey, I have believed in walking with the people, listening to them, and doing my best to do what they want, not what I think will be a monument to my own achievements. I have learned that our plush, comfortable, secure offices are inaccessible to the majority of the people who need them the most. As a leader, this is a huge setback because it costs us the opportunity to be useful and effective. This engagement taught me a lot about things I thought I knew. Most importantly, they reminded me the most important question of all: what does the government do, and for whom does it work, and how, therefore, should it work? I was appalled by the intensity of contempt many have for ordinary people and their rejection of any suggestion that their voice matters. I remain sorrowful over the hatred in the language that proudly despises the poor, the struggling, the hurting, the lonely, and the abandoned. Many of us have felt the stinging lash of this contempt, and we all know where it comes from. Behind the shameless deception that national unity is the coalescing of a few leaders to organize their selfish interests in an implacable sense of exclusive entitlement to the privileges associated with state power. This entitlement is the basis for the formulation of a cynical agenda to capture the state and disenfranchise ordinary people for good. That is why we have witnessed the criminalization of enterprise, the marginalization of livelihoods, and many paths form part and parcel of this contemptuous exclusion. We in the Hustler Nation believe that the measure of any society lies in how it treats its weakest and vulnerable members. We work from the bottom up because if we take care of the bottom, we take care of everybody. We want Kenyans to have opportunity to hustle from the bottom up. The top, therefore, must be understood to be everyone's aspiration, objective, and ideal destination. It is not bottom versus up. It is bottom up. It is not bottom versus up. It is bottom up. I commit, therefore, to live up to the original covenant of championing the establishment of everlasting peace, unity, and opportunity to prosper in our country. I make this commitment on the understanding that sustainable unity can only be achieved through meaningful political and economic inclusion. The evidence of inclusion is respect for dignity of livelihoods and the creation of space for every vocation, every skill, every profession and talent to flourish and yield a bountiful harvest of prosperity for all our people. At the same time, I reject the suggestion that a united country is one that has no political competition or opposition. Rather, I view the foundation of an inclusive Kenya as one governed by an effective democratic government with robust checks and balances, overseen by a vigilant and responsible opposition and a strong civil society movement. I call your attention to the fact that over the past 4 years, the purchase, compromise, and eventual liquidation of the opposition and legitimate political competition set the stage for an effective state capture. I must therefore specifically undertake that under our administration, we shall boldly and firmly confront and dismantle the now pervasive conflict of interest that has rapidly evolved into state capture through corrupt political and economic arrangements. Public policy must not be customized to benefit the private and personal interests of a select few. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to conclude my remarks by framing the picture. What are we up against? What is the 9th of August about? We must be very clear in our minds why your vote counts on the 9th of August. On the 9th of August, there will be a competition of ideas. There will be a competition of sides. We are on one side, our competitors are on the other side. Let me say this for clarity, so that Kenyans go to the polls on the 9th of August understanding what is on the ballot. On the ballot on the 9th of August, the great people of the Republic of Kenya will be two groups. One who believes that the way to the future of our country is through changing the Constitution. On our side, we believe that the way to the future of our nation is by changing the economy of our nation. We are seated here. We are assembled here as the United Democratic Party Congress with our friends from ANC and Ford Kenya and Tujibebe and Savina and CSP and CCK and CCM and all the other parties united by one thing. our belief that the future of our nation is predicated on changing the economy of our nation. While our competitors believe that it is through the changing of the constitution to create positions for a select few will treat our problem of exclusion, on our side, we believe that we need to change the constitution to create opportunity, create jobs, create opportunities for millions of young people out of school, out of college, out of our universities, that therein lies the solution to the inclusivity question in the Republic of Kenya. We are very clear that we had this plan in 2017. Unfortunately, the forces who are against the people of Kenya, who do not want to share opportunity, who believe that Kenya is their privilege, who believe they own this nation, they sabotage the Big Four plan because they did not want the young people of our nation to get the opportunity to work and to get the opportunity to do business. I want to say with clarity and certainty that if we had not lost 4 years chasing a mirage, if we had taken time to implement the Big Four plan, Kenya would be different from what we have today. We wouldn't be having millions of young people languishing without jobs. While our competitors believe that they will go to the polls so that they can get the opportunity to change the constitution so that a few people can share power, we are telling them we will go to the polls to elect leadership that is going to create opportunities for empowerment, not sharing power, for the empowerment of millions of citizens of our republic. We want to remind our competitors that 10 million Kenyans today are in a lottery because they have no defined jobs, they have no defined business, they have no access to credit, they have no place to do business, there is no law to protect their enterprises. And we are saying that the opportunity that we have as the people of Kenya is not to change the constitution to create positions and share power among few people. The opportunity we have in Kenya is to create the opportunity for the empowerment of millions of citizens through jobs, through opportunities to work in their enterprises, in their businesses, and to make sure that our economy works for all Kenyans. Our competitors believe that this nation should be about a few people who will the levers of state power. We are telling them this country is not just about leaders. This country is about 50 million Kenyans. And because it's about 50 million Kenyans, we will not accept to go the journey. They have told us they will bring back the BBI monster because they want to create an imperial presidency. They want a president who controls the judiciary using the ombudsman. They want a president who controls the legislature using appointments. They want a president who does what he wants or what she wants merely because she has power or he has power or they have influence or they have money. We are telling them that this country is about 50 million Kenyans and we will not accept to go back to the dark days of an imperial president. We are marching forward to a Kenya of shared prosperity by 50 million Kenyans. Our competitors believe that this country belongs to those in power. They believe in impunity. They believe in monopolies. They believe in cartels. We want to tell them we believe in the rule of law. They have weaponized state institutions. They have weaponized the DCI. They have weaponized the EACC. They have weaponized the KRA to run political errands, to dismantle businesses that belong to people who do not worship them. And I want to tell them, this country will change. On our first day, we will free the DCI. We will free the KRA from state capture. We will make sure Thank you. Thank you very much. Asante sana. I want to say, thank you very much. They have weaponized the DCI, the EACC, and the KRA to run political errands. We will professionalize the DCI's office and the KRA for them to discharge their constitutional and legal duty. On the first day, we will appoint an accounting officer for the IG and the DCI, so that going forward, the DCI and the IG will have financial independence, and they will never again depend on the office of the president for them to discharge their responsibility. As they weaponize the KRA, we will do the complete opposite. We will professionalize the KRA, digitize the KRA, and make sure that it collects all the taxes professionally. And the 60% of the taxes that are not collected as VAT, we will make sure that we will create the mechanism, the digital platform, so that we can collect taxes and we don't have to fight Kenyan enterprises and destroy people's business. Thank you very much. Our competitors have proposed that they want to change the constitution so that they can make the judiciary to be subservient and to be accountable and to be answerable to the executive. We want to tell our competitors, we will do the complete opposite. On our first day, we will operationalize the judiciary fund so that we can free the judiciary, give them financial independence so that they can discharge their responsibility of sorting out disputes, making sure that criminals are put behind bars, and making sure the corrupt find their place in jail by making sure that they have the independence to discharge their responsibility without the current encumbrances imposed on them by resources that are not being released because there is a deliberate move to ensure that the judiciary fund has not been operationalized, yet it has been in our laws for the last 10 years. We believe in an independent judiciary. We want the judiciary to discharge their mandate, independent of the executive. We want the judiciary to provide its oversight role over the other arms of government. We want the judiciary that will stand tall and make sure that they discharge their responsibility without encumbrances of matters to do with financial dependence on other arms of government. We want a judiciary that will be truly independent, that does not receive telephone calls from the executive for them to write judgments. We want a judiciary that is truly independent. Good people, agriculture will be on the ballot in this election. Our competitors are the masters of monopolies. They are the agents of conflict of interest. They are the agents of state capture. And we must free this country and our agriculture from cartels and brokers. We are telling our competitors that we will deal firmly with conflict of interest. We will deal firmly and eliminate brokers and cartels and monopolies that have taken hostage our agricultural sector. And we will make sure that every farmer has access to quality seed, have access to subsidized fertilizer, have access to markets, have access to good prices, and they have access to government support so that they can produce food for our nation, so that every farmer can earn a decent earning for their produce, and we can reduce the cost of living and make sure that every Kenyan has disposable income, and we can grow our economy, pay our taxes, and stop begging for loans and debt from other countries because we can stand up for ourselves. Our competitors are telling us that it is okay to have debt. Our competitors are telling us every country has debt. Yes, we agree every country has debt. But good people, we can do better. We can think better to be able to grow our own revenues. And we must not be slaves of debt from any place or any country. Debt must be the last resort. We must grow our economy. We must empower our enterprises. We must create opportunity in agriculture so that we can grow our tax base, get as many Kenyans as possible to pay their taxes so that we can run the affairs of our country on the basis of the revenue that we collect. President Mwai Kibaki taught us that it is possible for us to grow our tax revenues. He took over when tax revenues were at 200 billion. He left when we were collecting more than $1 trillion. Our tax collection has stagnated because of conflict of interest. Our tax revenues are stagnated because we do not have a concrete plan. We are saying our movement will create a concrete plan that will expand our taxes so that we can double our tax revenues and reduce on borrowing and debt that can cripple our country. It is tragic that the only thing that I can remember on matters to do with the economy that the handshake has done is to borrow 7 trillion in the last 5 years. It is a tragedy that we must investigate. Good people, we are at a historic moment. We have to make our choices carefully on the 9th of August because what is on the ballot is either Kenya moving forward into prosperity or Kenya regressing into tyranny and poverty. The choice is as clear as day is from the night. Let me conclude my remarks by saying we will create a comprehensive environment for Kenyans to save, a comprehensive environment for us to grow our own savings. Many countries have their savings in the region of 30 to 40% of GDP. It is only in Kenya that our savings as a percentage of GDP is around 7%. And it is because we think debt is the easier route. I want to say savings is the better route. And that is what we must go. That's what we must do. So, my good people of Kenya, let me say this contest has been defined. Kenyans know what to vote for in this election. You will vote for the people who are looking for power, positions, the cartels, the state capture, the conflict of interest, the brokers, or you will vote for the future of our country, the jobs for our young people, opportunities for our business people, opportunities for our farmers, an accountable executive, an accountable judiciary, an accountable government, and a future for everybody. That is what is on the ballot on the 9th of August. Again, let me thank all of you for sparing time to listen to me. I appreciate your patience. I appreciate your commitment. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your sacrifice. I want to thank many leaders who have had to suffer and be victims of a weaponized fight against business, a weaponized fight against leaders. I want to thank many leaders who are here, specifically members of parliament who are here. Can I ask members of parliament who are here to stand up from the UDA party? Please, I also want to ask senators and governors who are here to stand up. Thank you very much. These men and women have been subjected to blackmail. They have been persecuted. They have been threatened. Many of them have been dragged to court for crimes they never committed. Their crime was only to be my friend. Their crime was only to be members of the Hustler Nation. But I want to thank them. They are made of good metal. They are made of fine gold. And history will judge you guys fairly, that you stood up against tyranny, that you stood up against blackmail. Thank you very much. The weaponization of the DCI, EACC, and KRA is not limited to these leaders. It goes to many business enterprises have been crippled and destroyed by a weaponized DCI, EACC, and KRA. Today, it is not just the big business. It is not just Humphrey Karaoke's business. It is not Tabitha Karanja and Keroje business. Even the border today are victims of a weaponized fight against people who don't share in the belief of those who hold the levers of power today. And I want to promise them that power is transient and the people of Kenya will overcome. We will not submit to your threats and blackmail. We will not bow to you. We will not worship you. We worship the living God in heaven. We worship no human being. Asanteni sana. Asanteni. Thank you very much. I want to say from this podium, you may have power. You may control the levers of power, but we believe in God, the all-powerful. We submit to God, the all-powerful. We will respect everybody. We will give respect to whoever respect is due. We will give honor to whoever honor is due. But we will worship only God in heaven. we will worship no human being. I want to thank you very much for listening to me. I accept this nomination with humility. I commit that I will do my very best to make sure that I don't let you down and that I actualize the aspirations and the wishes of each and every one of you and make your dreams come true. Thank you very much. God bless you. Asante.
DJ. Nairobi na Kenya nzima kwa mara ya mwisho, inua mkono moja kwa hewa. Nataka nisikie kwa Doan kwa mara ya kwanza, sema Igwe! 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 Your Excellency, the Hustler Nation has nominated you to represent the Hustler Nation in the highest office in the land, and you are now officially our UDA presidential candidate, William Samoei Arap Ruto. Haya DJ, ngoja kidogo sasa. Your Excellency, hapa kuna msanii ambaye alikuja akakuwa mwanasiasa. Wasanii wanasema wewe ni mwanasiasa ambaye atakuwa msanii sahihi. Ladies and gentlemen, performing together with His Excellency William Ruto, I want to introduce on stage right now the one and only
Kila mtu hapa maisha ni yangu, washughulika na yako, napenda za kwangu, washughulika na yako. Miti mabibi siwezi pangwa na system ama siasa za ukabila, kura zote napea hasla, automatic economy na tax. Siwezi pangwa na system ama siasa za ukabila, kura zote napea hasla, automatic economy na tax. Kenya wote tumetoka, tena kwa wazee tumetoka, mama wote wametoka, kama ni kupangwa nisipangwe, mboka ni mboka, wera ni wera, mboka ni mboka, hatupangwingwi. Yani mnasema tuanze hapa chini alafu twende juu, yani hapa bottom alafu twende up. Hapa bottom kwa watu wa matatu na matatu na watu wa alafu twende up. Kila mtu from bottom nation, bottom twende up, from bottom twende up, from bottom twende up, from bottom twende up, bottom twende bottom twende up, from bottom twende up, from bottom twende up, maisha ni yangu twende up, maisha bottom twende up, maisha bottom twende up, maisha ni yangu, washughulika na yako, napenda za kwangu, washughulika na yako.
Excellency usichoke. Coming up right now, we want to bring up the one and only Iyana. Hey.
Kila mtu ako kwa chama. Kila mtu ako kwa chama. Sema above the head. Alafu below the belly. Across the counties. Smooch those monies. Ati smooch those monies. Nataka tufunze DP style. Twende above the head. Below the belly. Alafu across the counties. Smooch those monies. Mwah. Mwah. Smooch hizo pesa. Mwah. Hasla ndani mpaka State House. Hasla ndani mpaka State House. Saudi.
Nakujua nani kona Kenya kwanza.
Hii anda ni wa Kenya. Wale wanataka pesa na hata pia kucheza. Tumasania pesa. Leta nini? Tunataka nini? Sema pesa. Leta nini? Siwezi bila pesa. Leta pesa. Leta pesa. Pesa kana shipa mwenyewe. Leta pesa mfukoni. Kila mtu apewe. Pia mimi na wewe. Kenya kwanza leta pesa. Maisha ni tamu na pesa. Mama mboga anataka pesa. Watu wa ndugu wanataka pesa. Pia wakulima wanataka pesa. Pesa, pesa, pesa. Tukiwa na pesa tutajenga uchumi bana. Tukiwa na pesa hakuna kufuliza bana. Tukiwa na pesa nikibaba sana wapiduru wewe. Pesa leta nini?